We're so excited to have our friend Anna from Narrative Hues here.
Yay!
Hello.
Hello.
Welcome. So
I'm
Yay.
excited
so
to
happy
have
to be
you.
here.
And you're actually our first guest on our podcast.
Oh,
Ever.
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So honored.
It's really exciting. We were like, oh my God, our first guest. Like, what do we do? What do we say? So we'll be kind of figuring things out as we go. But first of all, we just want to talk about what was the inspiration behind starting your sticker shop, or sorry, not sticker shop, but stationery
Stationery.
shop.
Mhm.
And how did you come up with the idea?
Well, if you ask, it is becoming a stationery shop thanks to Sticker Guru because I took their sticker course.
Yay!
Yeah, my business, if you didn't know, Narrative Hues is basically a stationery business or shop that focuses on making overlay tapes, but we've recently just branched out to stickers, and that's why. But
Mm.
anyways, to start off, um, for me, I've always loved stickers. So, like, as a child, I grew up playing with stickers. I don't know if you guys know Lisa Frank and, like,
Mm,
Hello Kitty.
yes,
Yes.
I was obsessed with those
love.
stickers. I would
Hmm.
go into the stores and just stare at them all day, and I would hoard them, and I wouldn't use them. I still have the Lisa Frank stickers to this day.
Pretty sure I do too.
Yeah. And then, like, I don't know, I think I just grew out of that phase or some for some reason, like, my mind was like, "Oh, okay, now that I'm an adult, like, oh, I don't use stickers anymore." Even though I would still gravitate towards stickers when I go into, like, shops, retail businesses and stuff like that. But it was, like, I think it was in college when I realized that I needed a planner to just juggle life because I was juggling so many things, like a full course or a full course full was it full-time courses for, college, and then, like, 3 part-time jobs, and then, president of an organization on campus, and then also a leader at church. There's just so many things going on, I needed a planner. So I was like, "Okay, what's a good planner out there?" Just started, like, researching, found Passion Planner, and I got it, and I was like,
Oh,
"This is
okay.
a great planner. I don't know how to use it, though." So I went on YouTube, started looking and searching how people use the Passion Planner because I didn't wanna just do pen to paper, it just felt a little boring and mundane for me. So I looked it up. That's kind of how I fell down the rabbit hole of, stickers and washi tapes in planners, and I found the planner community through that, and from there, I was just like, you know, I love stickers. I became a consumer. I would, like, keep up with all the subscription boxes and get all the stickers when new releases would come out from Etsy shops and things like that, and I just felt like I had all these sticker kits, but I wanted to add foil to them, but I didn't have, like, enough foil stickers to do that, so how could I create something that was cost effective and I can use over and over and over and over again? And mind you, I did not have any business expertise or knowledge in business or anything. I was a bio major. So I did research for like 6 months. The inspiration there was okay, if I can make something that is not offered yet in the market, it's unique and it's fun to use and it's cost effective, then why not do it? So after 6 months of researching, it was really, really hard, by the way, finding a manufacturer who'd work with me
Mhm.
Oh,
to
yeah.
make something that just that did not exist at all. I buckled down and when I finalized all that, I was like, "Oh shoot, I have like this idea, but I don't have a name for myself." And so one night I asked my friend to come to a boba shop with me. And from there, it started with a pen and a piece of napkin from that boba shop. And I started my business.
That's
I love
awesome.
that
Do you still
story.
have the napkin? You should get it framed.
I do. It's kind of gross because it's like really old. It's like
Yeah, get it
crumpled
framed, put
and
it up there. That's like,
yeah,
The
yeah.
start.
your origin story.
Yeah, right now, I don't trust myself enough with a frame because I know that with a frame, it might, like, color or, like, tint over time from the sunlight or something. I
Mhm.
keep it in my
Mhm.
journal. It's, like, safe there for sure.
Mhm.
Okay. Okay, wow. That's awesome. Yeah, so you started out with overlay tapes,
Mhm,
and what really stood out to me when you were telling your story is, like, how, um, you picked something that was unique, that wasn't already available. So,
mhm.
like, what made you come up with tapes specifically? Like, did you love
Ooh.
using tapes, and so you're like, "This is what I'm gonna go for?"
I think it's just how my mind works that I wanted to create something that wasn't there yet. And that's why I thought of tapes, specifically clear overlay tapes that were foiled, because that wasn't something that was being offered at the time. And I loved, like, loved foil. And I wanted to make my planner spreads just shine and sparkle. But for me, I didn't have the budget to be buying sticker sheets of foils. And I wanted something that I can offer that's cost effective and you can use it for like a year or even two if you wanted to, and add that shine and that sparkle to your spreads daily.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow,
Yeah,
that's awesome.
yeah.
So I know you used to go by Girl Boss Anna, and then you had a
Mhm,
rebrand, and now you are Narrative Hues.
mhm.
What made you want to rebrand, and what was that process like?
Ooh, yeah, so I think there were a couple of reasons, but the main reason was because a lot of people who were either, returning customers or even, potential new customers, they were confused with the brand name. They were like, "Girl Boss Anna, oh, this is an influencer." I was not an influencer, we were a stationery
Uh-huh.
business, and
Uh-huh.
so that was the main thing. I wanted to rebrand because Girl Boss Anna sounded more like an influencer than a stationery shop, and that's why we changed our name to Narrative Hues, which aligned more with what we wanted to go for as a business, to create stationery products that would allow customers to be able to share their stories in every shade.
Yeah.
And so
In terms of like making that switch,
mhm.
was it hard? Did your customers like get confused in the beginning, or was it like a very smooth transition over?
Yeah. So the process from beginning to end was not easy. It was so hard. As you guys know, branding, you have to have like a strong brand in order to stand out and in order for people to be able to remember it. And so for me, it was 6 months of intense rebranding. So every single day on top of the workload that I had, I would be back and forth with the agency that we worked with. A friend recommended an agency to me, and they were amazing. Like they really helped me with like the copyright and like get like throwing out ideas for me so that we can like really talk and brainstorm together and finalize things together. But all in all, it was a 6 month intense process, and I didn't know what I couldn't like wanted in the brand in the beginning. I just knew that I didn't want it to be just like any other brand because I wanted it to have like a meaning. I wanted to align with my values, which is, to get to know people and to hear their stories and to be able to share stories together through what we create. um but like I think there were a lot of doubts going through the process because you think like, "Oh, people are not gonna know me as Girl Boss Anna anymore, like, they're gonna know Narrative Hues, like, what if they don't like that? What if they don't like the rebrand that I'm like, all of these new logos, these new colors, these new, like, copywriting and how we present ourselves?" I'm so afraid that they're not going to stay with me because of just like the name change, the logo change, and everything. Like, I'm still the same person. We're still offering the same
Mhm.
things, probably
Yeah.
even better things. But there definitely was that fear. And it took a lot of journaling, I will say, a lot of verbal processing with friends, and a lot of just like checking in with myself and asking, like, hey, does this brand that you're working on rebranding, does it still align with your values? And is there a way for you to voice that and to tell that through stories while and taking your like customers along the journey while you're doing it so that they don't feel like it was a complete like, oh, she just rebranded
Mhm.
out of nowhere. Like
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
didn't tell us anything, like you always want to take your customers with you. So yeah, like I think I had like real fears, but I think when you're in the process and you're afraid of those things, without it even happening yet, you kind of magnify it. So, like, when I did rebrand, customers reacted so well to the rebrand. And okay, I will say a lot of customers didn't know that we rebranded. And then they thought that Narrative Hues was like a knockoff version of Girl Boss Anna, like when we
Oh,
were posting.
wow.
Oh.
Like when we announced our post and like said
Uh-huh.
we rebranded, they didn't see the fine line that said, "Oh, formerly Girl Boss Anna."
Got
I
it.
see.
And then so, like, they would screenshot, like, the product photos that we had that we were releasing for
Uh-huh.
that week,
Uh-huh.
and they were trying to go to Girl Boss Anna Instagram to DM me the photo saying like, "Hey, someone's stealing your
Uh-huh.
product."
Oh my goodness.
Like,
Wow.
so many
Well,
customers came to my DMs and said that.
I mean, that's
Um,
good. You have very loyal customers who are looking out for you.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, that made me happy. So they responded very, very well to it. They loved the name change. They loved the story and the reasoning behind why we changed it and just like our brand values.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, I love it. It looks
Yeah,
great.
I absolutely love your new
Thank
website,
you.
like,
Thank
it's
you.
great.
Yep. Yep, definitely. Do you
A
wanna
lot
ask
of
the
blood,
next
sweat, and tears.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next question is, at what point did you feel like you were ready to take the leap from a side hustle to a full-time business owner?
Yeah, I found myself thinking of my business 24/7. Like at work, like even when I wake up in the morning to when I take my breakfast, when I take my lunch, and then like after work, I'm still thinking about it and I'm working on it. So I would go to work during the day and even at night, I would take online business courses because I'm still forever a student of business. Like I don't know like everything. And so I'm like trying still to teach myself business while I was working. And I think the business was growing so much. Like honestly, we were accelerating in growth so much. Even like yeah, well, really, let me rewind actually. So we were accelerating in growth so much. Like I made 8 times my monthly salary in 1 week. And that was kind of like this is like a sign, Anna, like you
Yeah.
need to
Uh-huh.
like jump on this now. It's now or never because if you don't do it now, you'll never know what it could have been like if you like took that leap. And so I felt like there was just so much potential and that if I had just like more bandwidth, if I had more time to design and to set up systems and to hire on employees, then I feel like the business would be able to scale instead of just me being the only person in the business doing everything, like go like work the day and then go home, ship orders, answer customer emails, like do everything by myself. That was kind of like the biggest thing that made me realize that hey, maybe this is your sign to like jump from a side hustle to a full-time business.
Wow,
That's
that's yeah,
awesome.
that's a great story.
Yeah.
Was it difficult telling? Because okay, so, like, we have Asian parents, and, like, they at least for our parents, like, they were not they want us to have, like, a traditional, sort of, like, stable job. Like, ultimately, your parents want you to, like, have some stability in your life. So, did
Right.
you find it difficult to tell your parents, or were they, like, supportive all the way?
Um, well, I don't know if I told you like in our last live, I don't know if I ever told you guys this, but when I first started my business, my parents disowned me and they kicked me out of the house.
Oh my
Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
gosh.
I know.
No.
Everyone's dropping their jaws right now. Like, yeah, that was the thing. So we didn't talk for about 2 years. Like yeah, like I would reach out and I would, just like keep them updated in my life, but they just like were like cut. They like cold shouldered me because they didn't want
Wow, oh
Wow.
my goodness.
yeah. And I think it was just because they felt like as parents, they were failing me because they didn't raise me well enough to know that having like a stable job, like, and I say this in quotations, right?
Right.
A stable job in a stable corporation would, be like a firm, stable foundation for me growing up. And I think it's also because they've had businesses themselves and those businesses failed. And so
Got
Mhm.
it.
I see.
that was kind of them trying to protect me, but because they knew that they didn't have control, the only thing that they could do that they knew that would hurt me or make me think more about my decision
Yeah.
was to cold shoulder me.
Got
Yeah.
it.
I see.
Yeah.
But I mean, I watched your vlogs and it seems like they're very involved now. So,
Yeah.
like, what
Yeah.
made that
Yeah.
change for
Yeah.
them?
So crazy story. After I left my full-time job, I think it was like like 2 months into leaving my full-time job, I told my parents like, "Hey, this is what I'm doing. I made the decision to quit my full-time job and these are my reasons." I had the data to back it up and I was
Mhm.
ready
Mhm.
to pull it out of my pocket to share it to them because I was just like, "Okay, I know they disowned me in the past, so I have to be prepared for this one. I can't just straight up say like, "Hey, I quit my full-time job to do my business." they're gonna be like, they're gonna want to know like facts and data.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
yeah, like I had it was kind of interesting because I told them on Mother's Day of 2022, I believe, and I was really surprised when they were like, "Well, if you say that you're doing well, we believe you, and if you want, we want to support you." And I was like, "What? Really?" And they're like, "Yeah, really." And so I actually hired them on 2 weeks later, and they are now the ones who process and package all of our orders at
Oh
Narrative
my
Hues.
gosh.
That's amazing. I'm so glad that
I'm glad that
they've
they
come
yeah.
around and now they're
Yeah.
like 100% supporting you. I'm glad.
Yeah, yeah, and yeah, if you're listening to this and you have Asian parents and you're afraid to tell them things, just trust that if you continue over time and you're happy with it, they'll start to see that. And I, as parents who love their child, they will want to support you in any way that they can.
Definitely. I agree.
Yeah.
Agree with that. I'm very curious, what is your favorite part about being an entrepreneur, about doing this full time?
Mm. Oh, easily going to conferences. It's the
Oh,
best
okay.
for me, honestly. I love meeting people. I'm an extrovert by heart, so I love being around people. COVID was hard for me.
COVID was
Had to
Yeah.
hard.
do a lot of
Yes.
FaceTiming with friends and just people and learning how to be okay with being alone for a bit. But yeah, conferences. I love networking. I love um, meeting customers and hearing their stories and even shop owners and hearing their stories. It kind of honestly like aligns back to the values of the business, which is to share your stories through the different colors. But yeah, like I love networking, meeting new people. It's what makes doing this job more fun because you actually get to put a face on to the people that you talk to online. You know, like, "Oh, remember me? I'm like blah 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 handle from
Uh-huh.
Instagram or something."
Yep.
I'm like,
Yeah.
"Oh yeah, I remember you. So you're blah blah blah." So it's just so much fun, and it it makes me feel like what I do actually matters. Like at Go Wild recently, the last conference I went to, we had a meet and greet for Narrative Hues, and I actually got to meet so many customers and customers who were there in the beginning since day one when I was still Girl Boss Anna. So it was just like very heartwarming to meet those customers and to know that they've been supporting my business since day one.
That's awesome. Hopefully, we'll see you at the whatever next conference we're at.
Yeah,
Hopefully, we'll
Yeah.
see you, and we can
yeah.
finally meet in person.
I thought you guys were gonna go Wild, so I was a little bummed when I didn't see you there.
Yeah, not this year,
Yeah.
but fingers crossed for next year.
Yeah.
You can ask the next
Okay.
question.
What advice would you give to aspiring entrepreneurs looking to start their own sticker shop or similar creative business?
I have a lot of advice.
All right, spill it. Give it to us.
I have a lot, but I don't think there's enough time on this podcast for it. So I'm just gonna give just like little like bullet points of what I would give to people who want to start out their own shops. Like I think the number one thing is to know one, who you are as a person, what your values are, and how you want to convey that into your business. How do you want to translate that into your business? And so remembering what your why is. Why are you starting your business? Is it just for money? Because if it is, it's not going to last. Is there going to be a lasting impact that you're trying to do? Like for me, it's women empowerment. For me, it's to be able to allow customers and people, real people, to share their stories through the different colors of products that we offer. And I would say even celebrate the small wins because if you don't, you're going to continue to keep chasing goals after goals without celebrating and really enjoying being in the moment and celebrating those little small milestones that you meet. Um, you don't want to live your life going from like one big goal to the next without really, really celebrating and like living in the moment. The next thing would be just to do your research because if you are starting on a new venture, you want to know the ins and outs of everything. And when I say ins and outs of like research, I say like finances, what your business plan is, again, what is your why, how like what are the resources that you have at your dispense. There's so many things that are or so many factors that go into like starting your own business And so you have to do the research. Put in that time. Don't get lazy on it because if you do, there will be repercussions.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yes, and then also look for a business mentor, someone who you look up to. Like I have a lot of business or like people in the planner community that I look up to, and I go to them when I have questions on things. Like I just launched a subscription. I'm just like, oh my gosh, how do you deal with shipping? How do you do all this?
Yep.
How do you work with this platform? What platform do you use? So just like asking people and not being afraid to reach out to ask for help from people who are more seasoned in the industry that you're in. And then another thing is to network as much as you can. Network, network, network. Like people say that all the time. It sounds so cliche, but honestly, it's one of, at least for me as an extrovert, it's one of the things that really keep me going. And then when you have questions, you can always ask someone because you have resources to reach out to. And then say yes to every opportunity as much as you can. Of course, know your bandwidth and like know your limits. If you can't say yes to the opportunity, just like, try to make a new one in the future. Say like, hey, I can't do it this time, but can we do it next time? But if you can say yes to every opportunity, because you never know what doors might open up. Like last year, I went to Go Wild, didn't think I was going to quit my full time job after that, and then take my business on and then rebrand. And then like like there's so many things that just happen from it. Like I just heard about this conference a week prior, booked my flight and ticket, found a roommate on the Facebook group, and like attended. And then this year we had a meet and greet for Narrative Hues. Like how crazy is that? And then I think something that really stood out to me in this past year's conference was I heard the passion planner and Angel Trinidad. She actually spoke at the conference. She's the owner of Passion Planner, and she said it's kind of like her main like motto thing that she says, but she kept reiterating over and over and over again. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to start. That's that's what I want to leave off with because I think as someone who wants things to be perfect, I'm a recovering perfectionist. Um, I a lot of the times I think too much and I'm just like overanalyzing things. And sometimes you can get crippled and paralyzed by overanalyzing. So just just do the thing. It doesn't have to be perfect. And if it's not perfect, you at least know and you can take notes and improve on it next time.
Wow, there were
Yeah,
so many good
that
gems.
was amazing, like, that was a
That was
great
fire.
list of advice.
I hope you were all
Thank
taking
you.
notes during that because
Yeah.
those were some gems. Like,
Yeah.
wow. Chef's kiss.
Mwah.
Well, thank you for sharing that. Is there any way that you can that our listeners can find you? Whether it's your shop link, your handles, where are you at?
Yeah, we're all over the place. We're we're on Instagram, we're on YouTube, we're on TikTok, and they're all handled as Narrative Hues. And we're also on Facebook. You can find us there too. Narrative Hues, all over.
Okay, Narrative Hues. Go
Hmm.
look her up. We'll also include links in the show notes.
Mhm.
Well, thank you
Thank
so much for
you.
coming on the podcast. It was lovely
Yeah.
chatting with you as always. It's just been a pleasure.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been real.
Definitely.